All right, now we're going to look at positioning things on the page. And when we're using these positions, we're taking the element out of its normal flow and placing it somewhere else on the page. So we're going to take a look at a few different ones: the fixed, relative, absolute, and sticky. In this video, we're going to start off taking a look at fixed, but the different values available for those are those four that I just read: fixed, relative, absolute, sticky, and there's also static, which is what the elements are by default if you don't use a position for them. So here, looking at this, we just added these Font Awesome icons, the Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So now what I want to do is take a look at these and move them around, do something else with them. So we gave this div, or we put them in a div with the class of socials. So I'm going to move that element. So the dot socials, and then we're going to give it a position. And for this video, we're going to use fixed. Now, just because I gave this a position of fixed, it doesn't change where they are at the moment. It does change a little bit of the flow, so it looks kind of weird. For the sake of this, I'm going to change these from white to blue. Actually, we'll use the RGBA. So red first, no red, no green, and the whole 255 for blue. And then the A is the alpha channel. I'm going to use 0.8, and that deals with the opacity or transparency. So now I can see that's pretty dark. If I change this 0.8 to, say, 0.2, we can see when we refresh this, they're almost invisible. So if I go all the way to 0, then we're not going to be able to see them at all. For this, I'm going to go ahead and stick with 0.5. And they're a little bit see-through. Some of that color in the back comes out, and we can see these on top of this white as well. So now that we have the position set to fixed, if our page was scrolling, those will stay where they are, but they didn't move from where they were. So now we're going to tell them where we want them to be located. And for the positions, you can set the top or bottom, and then the left or right. You can't set top and bottom. That wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. So if I wanted these to be at the bottom right, I could tell this bottom colon 10 pixels. So it's going to bring it up 10 pixels from the bottom, and then right 10 pixels. And when I save this, that's going to move these down here to the bottom right corner. And that's not where I really want those to be. I want them to be about there, but from the top. So here I'm going to change this. Instead of 10 pixels from the bottom, I'm going to tell it I want it 10 pixels from the top. And we can see why you can't do both of those. You can't have it 10 pixels from the top and 10 pixels from the bottom. That wouldn't work. That's why we only set the top, bottom, or top or bottom, and then left or right, because we need those to know what, or let the browser know what it is we're talking about and where we want these things. So now when I scroll, I can see this is staying there in that same spot relative to this browser window, not relative to something on the page. And using the term relative, since there is relative positioning, that might not be the best way to say that, but it keeps that in that location based on the page. If I increase the width of this window, we can see it's still staying 10 pixels from the top and 10 pixels from the right.